Day number 5, okay? So today we're going to be talking about building non-negotiables and fixing your standards, okay? Because this is a great segue off of the discipline and motivation that we talked about yesterday. So building non-negotiables, like I said in the previous example of brushing your teeth, right? Or taking a shower before going to bed, or eating lunch, or, anything that you do on a day-to-day basis that you normally would do and would be crazy not to do, okay? You have to start implementing that same sort of mindset with the 3 things that make up a jack genius. So you have to do something physical, whether it's a sport, whether it's going to the gym, whether it's doing something physical in your day. You have to learn something. You have to, go out and either learn something from a book, learn something from someone else, or develop some sort of skill that you have. And then you need to talk, okay? You need to talk to people. You need to talk to women. You need to talk to men. You need to talk to someone that you don't know, okay? If you implement all these 3 non-negotiables every single day, I guarantee you within 60 days, you're going to be a completely different person, okay? So you, like I said, lift, learn, talk. These can be anything within this realm as long as you do it every single day. Consistency is the key. This is your system we were talking about from the discipline from before, okay? So what lift, right? That means gym, walk, run, sport, swim, anything, right? Anything that is physical, you need to do once a day. Doesn't matter what day it is. Even if you have a rest day, a walk is still necessary because you are going outside, you're exposing your body outside of your own house and your own home or the indoors, and it's very, very good for you just to go out in general, okay? So this is now your new non-negotiable, okay? 1 workout, 1 active thing per day, okay? Next, learning. What are your hobbies, okay? What are your hobbies? You got to write that down. Write down the top 3 things that you like doing, okay? Once you found your hobbies, now you're going to improve these 3 skills or these 3 hobbies that you have. Let's say you like to surf. You like to read. Disc markers. And then you like to, code. Okay? Pretty nerdy topic, but let's just say that. You like these 3 topics. Learn about one of them at least for an hour a day. Okay? At least for an hour a day every single day. Okay? That's going to make you smarter in that area of work that you like, and you're going to gain benefits no matter what, okay? On top of that, you can do something just in general, like reading a book of choice, reading something you're interested in, okay? I need to change this marker right here. Just bought these and they're already messing up. So reading a topic that you enjoy, something that you find interesting to gain more knowledge, okay? This could also be watching a YouTube video on something you're interested in, okay? So as long as you are stressing your mind in one way or another to learn something new, you're on the right track. You're on your way to becoming a jack genius because you have to exercise your mind as well as exercising your body because these 2 go hand in hand, okay? Next, the one you guys all love, to talk, okay? You have to go and be social. You have to practice that muscle because I know a lot of you guys are a little bit anxious to go talk to women, go talk to guys, try and put yourself out there. You say you're shy, you're naturally shy. Guess what? I was naturally shy too. But I realized that no one is born naturally shy. You just get programmed into being shy because, you have people telling you, let's say in class, you raise your hand and the teacher doesn't pick on you. Or you try and say something and then someone tells you that's not right. So over time, you become more anxious or more socially disconnected because maybe like people were telling you your opinion doesn't matter. Incorrect, okay? You have to go out and talk, and you have to make new connections every day. So as long as these three things are pushing you a little bit day by day, in the long run, it's gonna help so much, bro. Trust me. So if you go out and talk to, it can be as simple as giving 3 compliments, okay? 3 compliments. I'm gonna write this down, okay? 3 compliments to 3 girls. It can be simple as 4 conversations with 2 guys. By 4 conversations, I mean 2 different topics, okay? So 4 conversations with 2 guys that you just meet on the street, okay? And then it could be, calling a friend, calling a family member, okay? I need you guys to talk because most of the time, a lot of you guys are less social because you don't exercise your own mouth talking. And that's very important if you want to be more social. You got to be comfortable with how you talk, how you speak to others, and how you present yourself. And so the only way to get better in all these 3 things is to put yourself through a bit of pain at the start, okay? Especially with this one. I had the most trouble with this one, and I can guarantee you if you guys continue doing this, you're going to get way more results, okay? In every other aspect, because lifting helps you learn better because you get a better diet, you have better energy, better physique, better everything. When you learn more about people, you can talk to people better. So they all feed into each other, okay? So understand that by talking as well, you get to learn more about people, learn more about how everything works, and then by proxy, you learn more. You can also be more efficient in your lifts because you know more about lifting. So, like I said, these 3 things are super important, and they are pretty much going to be your non-negotiables for the next 60 days, okay? Very, very important. And then you have to keep in mind also standards, guys. Standards are very important. You only go to your standards, okay? I don't care what you may say. Maybe you have lower standards or higher standards. You need to understand that everyone has their own level, okay? For me, anything under a certain amount of weight on my bench press is unacceptable. I can't accept anything lower than 315 pounds on my bench press. So that's my standard, okay? But I've had that standard for years, even when I didn't have a 315 bench. I said, I'm hitting 225, but I need to hit 315 because that's my standard. So you have to find out what your standard is and go to that standard, okay? Like I said also here, who is your ideal you? Who is the person that you're looking up to in 5-10 years? What does that person look like? Who are you in 5-10 years? Okay, what does that person do? What does he do with girls? What does he do with learning? What does he do with lifting? Okay, is he better? Is he really good? Is he short? Is he well dressed? Does he talk well? Does he not talk to anyone? Where does he live? Where does he go? You gotta understand that you have to envision your future self to become your future self. So understand that. I highly suggest you guys write down at least 5 things your future self would do in the next 5-10 years. Maybe yourself in 10 years, what he would do. What are the top 5 things yourself in 5 years or 10 years would do, okay? Write that down and then try and become those things already. Try and make your path towards your future ideal self, okay? By outlining your standards and then doing these 3 non-negotiables, okay? You cover these 3, you keep it simple. Like I said, the more simple it is, the easier it is for your brain to understand. So keep it simple. Lift, learn, talk every single day. No breaks, okay? No breaks. Because with the lifting, like I said before, you can just go for a walk when it's rest day. You have to do these 3 every day. All right? Perfect.